During the last 5 years, the finance industry has sent over 5,000 Australian jobs overseas, many of which have been from ANZ. However, with the finance sector union's very public campaign opposing the job losses and the appointment of new ANZ CEO Mike Smith, the company's attitude seems to have softened. Earlier this month, ANZ announced a new agreement with the FSU that sets out a package of measures to maintain employment at ANZ and support staff affected by the company's offshoring.
There's now an aspirational goal to redeploy 80% of the people who become redundant. So first and foremost, ANZ's responsibility is to find them a job inside ANZ, which is a welcomed change of mind as opposed to tipping them out onto the street. The other part of the scheme is that if you still can't find a job, there is actually going to be a hardship fund. So if you're one of the people who's a victim of offshoring and actually you can't find a job, your retrenchment money runs out, they will be able to access a hardship fund. Again, it's a committee that we sit on with FinSec and the ANZ. So even though you weren't employed by ANZ anymore, you can still get access to a grant to help tide you over. What the ANZ have realised, and they still know, is that every time they send a job overseas, we are going to criticise that decision, we're going to oppose it, and we're going to explain to the Australian community why it shouldn't happen.
Despite ANZ's willingness to show some support for its employees, and the Commonwealth Bank and Westpac stating they will halt offshoring, the National Australia Bank refuses to follow suit and continues to send jobs overseas.
They're proud offshorers. They are tipping more people out of jobs almost than the other three combined at the moment. There is restructure after restructure, and yet when we sit down with them and say, look, we oppose you doing that, hand over fist, and we're never going to go away about it, but can we at least do something to take care of the victims? Nothing comes. They are continuing to lay off people at the moment, even if they're not sending their jobs overseas, despite the fact that they're making multi-billion-dollar profits, and they're making that profit because of the Australian community. So what we're saying to the government is stop talking about a war on jobs and actually fire a shot. And they can in our industry. They could make it a condition of the deposit guarantee that not one single Australian job goes overseas.